Oh. That's right, like you've been promised. We told you he'd be here bright and early, and this man has, done it all. You know, decided that he wants to go and get a doctorate, did that, came back, dabbled in film, was government spokesman, now governor. Where will he go next? That's a big question. But he says he's feeling like his creative juices aren't flowing like they should. He should be doing plenty more. And we'll be talking about that because we look at his plate and it seems like he has a full plate. Where will he find the time to go back and probably produce something? We'll talk about that and plenty more. Bwana Governor.
Jeff.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Welcome to the show.
I was just listening to Shiko talk about Njugunas. You know, there's no sign on the road on where we written Njugunas.
Right.
So we know where people hang out. Because ukisema Njugunas, unajua the
Safari,
unajua Safaricom building, unajua Safaricom building, unajua James Gishuru, lakini Njugunas tunajua mali anakulanga nyama. Sababu hapo you must be a person who's been to Njugunas.
You're a member. You just see very many cars parked somewhere.
You are a member. It's an old den, but people still go there. Alafu ameongea juu ya Ngong Road always makes me angry nowadays.
Why is that?
I grew up on Ngong Road. I grew up, I went to Toy Primary School. I grew up huko Kangwaru to satellite, so I use Ngong Road, Wayakiwe, Dagorich Corner, so I know those areas. What makes me angry is the fact that we've been told, we had that road is being constructed at a price of R1 billion a kilometer.
Right. R1
billion a kilometer. Kwani hiyo barabara itakuwa na TV? Kwani hiyo barabara itakuwa na umelewa?
Right.
We cannot afford to be building roads at such a high cost in a country where there are basically no roads in the villages.
Right.
Where you go to a place like a constituency like South Kitui, where they have never seen a tarmac road. And here in Nairobi are building a road at R1 billion a kilometer. Whereas in Machakos was able to build a road at 15 million a kilometer. 5-6 years ago, panda gari uende sahi, the road is still there.
And for people who say, and this is something very many people talk about, the fact that having your media background, your PR background, a lot of what governor does, and I'm sure you've heard it, inakwanga tu PR.
Yeah, lakini wakuja one. You know, you cannot sell air. You can never sell air. If there's now nothing substantial, then it will bubble up after a few things bubbles up. But it's because we're able to do things and we're able to talk about them.
Right.
So naambia watu, stop talking about PR. Ingia gari yako. Don't even let Mutua accompany you. Kuja na kamera zako, kuja na microphone, ongea na watu. Enda kwa village ulize muko na borehole hapa. Enda to another one muko na borehole hapa. You'll find it because we have now 450 boreholes we've dug. We have about 400 weirs and dams that we have harvested water. You know, more than any other county. These are things that are there. We have over 1,800 Mulikamuizi and streetlights. These are things that you can see.
People can come and see for themselves without you being there.
Usiambie Mutua kuorganize ati ni PR group inawapeleka hapana. Ingia gari peke yako with your wife ama your loved one ama with your husband. Ingia gari, come to Machakos and see the miracle of Machakos.
Okay, and even before you talk about the miracle of Machakos, let's talk about the governor of the county itself, Bwana Mutua. What makes a person who has been in PR, has done media, feel like they want to jump into politics? You know, because from the outset, politics is rough and tumble every single day. Why would you go into that particular space?
I think it came down to the point of what do we want for our people. I grew up very poor and I struggled a lot and I got lucky. I think I'm very blessed. And God really blessed me. I was able to go to the US. And I looked at how life was in the US and I asked myself, why is it tuko nyumbani tunaenda kesha? Watu wako usiku mpaka asubuhi kesha, na akitoka nje kuna sewage inapita, hakuna barabara, hakuna stima, hakuna nini. And yet you go to the US, you go to churches, they are basically empty. Most of the churches are basically empty. Churches have been converted into bars. Hao ni watu waendi kesha. Hausikiangi ati kuna kesha US, ati overnight vigil, hakuna vitu kama hiyo. And yet, ukitoka nje, kuna barabara mzuri, there is good traffic coordination, young people at 19, 20 years old, wako na magari. So what did we do wrong? Tunaomba Mungu. We Africans, especially Kenyans, we believe in God. Yet, we are poorer than people who do not believe in God as much. Then I realize there's a gap in terms of implementation of projects and leadership. Nikasema, hata kama siasa ni mbaya na ni chafu, wacha nijiingize hapo, because if the good people keep away, then the bad people will continue making our children suffer.
Right.
Yeah, tutakuwa hapo in endless, oblivion. being born and living as the wretched of the earth.
Right.
So the reason I got into leadership was because I want to change the lives of our young people,
right,
and our parents.
And it's interesting, even because when you mentioned that, how you actually got to the United States is also interesting, because you were spotted teaching Sunday school.
Yes, I was teaching Sunday school.
This small guy.
Ninasema Mungu ni mwema. Unajua, when I was in Form 2, I stopped going to school. School fees ikakatika. Because my parents did not have money. I was living in a wooden shack with soil, using a pit latrine down the road. But because of being chap and being of service, mzee in the kanisa, late mzee called Hezron Waithaka, rest in peace, he paid for my school fees until Form 6, at up to Form 4 Dagoretti, and then up to Jamhuri High School up to Form 6. When I was in Form 5, these missionaries came, wanazunguka, and because I was teaching Sunday school and I was active and I was energetic, I was the one who was translating for them, and they went around and said, Jesus come all the way from, the Lord with miracles. Nasema Yesu alikuja kutoka mbali na miraa na koo. Nikawapeleka huko. So they were impressed, and that's how I ended up in the US. Wakaenda huko, wakanitafutia shule, wakanitafutia scholarship, and I left my parents at the age of 20, turning out 21. Nimevaa nguo, tulienda Gikomba na my dad, tukanua shati na trouser na viatu second hand, ndio nikaingia ndege nazo 11th of August 1991, nikaenda America, even without enough money to get me to where I was going. It's God's miracle, but it's also because I was an active child and I also did things. I was teaching Sunday school as a young person. I was involved in church. I was involved in community projects. I was not sitting and saying, serikali nisaidie, ama Mungu nisaidie.
And you've always
I was
been
standing out. Yeah,
you've always had your hands in different projects at every phase.
You come out. I don't like the word hustler, because if you Google hustler,
now because we now have a new connotation, and
it's not connotation, it's the real meaning. If you look at to hustle is to con people, and all that. So I don't like the word hustle. Yeah, but I've always been a go-getter. I've always believed that you make your fate, and God, I don't think it's biblical, but this thing of God supports the people, support themselves. There's a guy called Paulo Coelho. I don't know if you've read him.
The Alchemist.
The Alchemist. If you read The Alchemist, he says that if you mean well and you put your energies into something that means well, the forces of nature will galvanize themselves to enable you to succeed in your quest.
Right.
So all they call the forces of nature is what, to believers like myself, I believe in God. God will not support you if you're not doing anything. Umekaa tu nyumbani unasema Mungu nitafutie kazi, and you're just sitting at home.
Right.
You actually have to go out there and put some effort into something.
And let's talk about that aspect of multitasking.
Yes.
Let's call it that, because it's no new field to you. And you even wrote a book on how you actually made this happen. You bought your first house, doing movies. How did it get to a point where you realize in your day, okay, fine, Alfred, you need to get another income stream? What usually influences the next business opportunity or venture you get into?
I think it's a matter of looking at life. You can decide to be a thief, stealing, building roads, 1 billion shillings a kilometer, and the rest, the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. Or you can decide, let me work for the people, save the people's money, but because I also need to have my own income, because I also need to support my lifestyle, let me get into business. I'm good at logistics. I'm good at, you said multitasking. I'm good at doing things fast and doing things well. People in Kenya think that if you do things fast, you don't do them well, which is not true.
Right.
When I lived in Dubai, I saw them build a 200 kilometer in 6 months. That road iko. Our roads najengwa na 4 years, zinasambaratika. So speed is not inimical to efficiency or quality. You can do things fast and do them well. I look at opportunities, and the thing is, don't look at what there is now. Always look at where the trend is going. Wanasema dalili ya mvua ni mawingu. So a lot of people make the mistake of investing in places where they think like a person buying land. When you're buying land, do not buy land just because the place has grown and everything. Look at a place where you estimate in the next 5 to 7 years, the land will be good, the value will be higher, because you can see the trends. And human beings move in trends. We are wild animals. We are like the wildebeest. We are animals, not wild. The wildebeest, they move in a herd. Human beings behave in a certain manner. So you look at the behavior of the human beings. So you invest in areas that may not be doing well now, but in 5 years' time, will be something else.
Right.
Yeah.
And even as you say that, because from the outset and from the most people see the successes. We've seen the shows that you've put on TV, the books that you've written. But let's talk about the failures, because people need to realize that Dr. Mutua is human like anyone else.
I mean,
which business did you do
I
it
did,
didn't work out like you thought?
Yeah, I've done. I published a magazine called Passion Magazine, which was basically a magazine on fashion and everything. It was very hard. I lost money in it. It was not a very good venture, mainly because I refused to bribe, and I realized that even in the advertising agency, you have to bribe for you to get ads. So you bribe these.
There's a kickback culture.
There's a kickback culture. Kuna envelope. They call it the brown envelope. Terrible. So I refused to bribe. So that was not a very good decision. I did something called the East African Music Awards, the EMAs. And the East African Music Awards, we did one show where I got artists from Burundi, I got artists from Uganda, all the big guys. I brought in Papa Wemba, the late Papa Wemba came in. I brought in Christine Shusho from TZ, and we had a very, very big event. And we had one of the big telecommunication companies was sponsoring us, and then they pulled out the last minute. I was in the hall for about 11 million. Took me a while to pay debt. So I lost money in that one. But then I've made money in other ventures. You know, I had a show called How to Be Rich. I had a show with the late, what's her name? Escapes me. I had a show called Beba Beba, which I wrote.
Right.
Actually, I was driving on Lavington, and this matatu blocked me. And the guy blocked me. He was just shouting, Beba, 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 Beba. That's how the concept of Beba. That's how I wrote the first script of Beba Beba. Because of that guy who blocked my traffic. I was a friend of mine called Victor Muniafu in the same car. I was driving and we were just talking. We thought, that's a good show. You know, a show about a matatu. So I made money in Beba Beba. I made money in other ventures. Made money in
Let's not forget Cobra Squad.
And all that.
Everyone,
and,
I think anytime people think of you, one of the memories I get is Cobra Squad.
Cobra Squad was good for me. The first episode of Cobra Squad, I made 25 million shillings, paid off my house. The second
Did you say
episode,
first episode?
The first season, sorry. The first season. I made money out of Cobra Squad. I mean, I sold Cobra Squad to Zambia, Tanzania, Burundi. It was being seen in the African continent. I want to bring it back.
Right.
I was thinking actually yesterday that maybe I should remaster the tapes and bring the original Cobra Squad back.
Right.
And then let the younger generation who never saw Cobra Squad see it. You know, they may laugh at it now, but during our time it was the thing.
I think actually that should be brought back for very many of them to see what actually was happening back in the day.
Actually, I'll talk to some of these stations, including yours, and see whether we can bring Cobra Squad back. The original series. Right. Bring it, and then now, after maybe they have seen the first 2 seasons, people have, and then now we can do another season. Right. But I would like to do Cobra Squad, the movie. Okay, so that's coming up. I've been talking about it for now, but it's a list of things I have to do before 2022. Before 2022? Before 2022. Cobra Squad, the movie? Cobra Squad, the movie. Wow, okay, you heard it here first. Who would have thought about that? Okay, let's move on from the movies to actually what's happening on the ground. Let's talk about development and Machakos as well. Like you said, driving around what used to be your home back as a young person and seeing how things have been in that particular area. Going back to Machakos, you've told people, come and see. What should they come and see? I mean, let them come and see. Let them drive to the river and go to Mavoko and see the stadium we're building. We're building a youth stadium in Mavoko. Let them drive to Masi and see the other youth stadium we're building. Let them drive to Ikombe and ask anybody in Ikombe, show me the stadium. They'll go and find the stadium, the stands are there. Let them go to Kinyui in Matongolo and see another stadium. So currently, actually, we're building 9 stadiums, 4 of which have left the ground. The other ones are at the planning stage. Right. And let them see the stadiums. Let them see the water. Let them see the roads that we've constructed. Look at you right there. That never used to be there. What was happening here as you ran along the construction of this road? Yeah, what we're doing here, we're doing what is called the top seal. You see, when you construct a road is constructed under different layers. You do, you first dig the road and you remove the layer if it's bad, if it's black cotton soil, others, and then you put maram that is tested, and then you roll it, then you put more maram, then you create a sub base, then you create a base, then you do what is called a stabilization layer. Then that's what a road is. Right. Then now you come to the part where you're now doing what is called now applying the seal. Right. The seal is a tarmac, and so what the black thing you're seeing there is called MC30. It's prime. So you do it's primed, and then after that now you put bitumen 80/100. Then you need to put chippings. You know, barabara ni mawe, by the way. It's just pre-coated chippings. Ni mawe imewekwa ndani ya bitumen, alafu naekelea. So here I was demonstrating and showing my people that you can actually, like they do in Australia and other places, that instead of spending 5 days putting chippings in 1 kilometer, you spend 2 to 3 days, you can actually do it in 30 minutes.
Right.
So I was showing the last part of the road.
Right.
We built this road. It's Masinga Kibandini Road. It's opened up that area. This road, the ones we did, they're still there, doing very well.
Right.
And so what it meant is that instead of taking too long to do things, you can actually achieve the same results, save money, and get quality and get people help, because at the end of the day, watu wanataka barabara si kungojea forever.
And even as you see this and the work that you're doing, very many governors, right across the country, and we've seen this play out in that it almost feels like a governor at times is held ransom by the county assembly. And it's a very delicate balance and position.
Not only the county assembly, you're held ransom by the county assembly, but you're also held ransom by your employees. Your employees want you to slow down to their area, because when you move very fast, you don't leave a lot of openings for corruption. Right. Because corruption breeds when things are done slowly, when there's time to cut deals. But when you're moving fast, there's no time, because the contractor needs to be there, needs to be paid chap, so they can get back to the road and finish. So there isn't a lot of time for those deals.
So that's with the employees.
The employees try to slow you down.
What about the assembly?
The assemblies are okay, unless all assemblies in Kenya are okay. County assembly members are elected members. They are wise people, they are good people. The problem is that when they are influenced, and they're usually influenced by an outsider. They're influenced by another politician, by a senator, by an MP, mostly by a party leader, so as to slow down a governor, so the governor does not grow too fast and create an imbalance in the political hierarchy. Right. And that is what is happening in Lukambani. If you find, for example, Madam Gilo, she's having major problems with the MCS of Wiper. You know, big problems. Machakos, I had major problems with the MCS of Wiper. Kibwana in Makueni, major problems. MCS,
and it's the same thing across
the same
across
Wiper
the board?
MCS. So you have to say, wait a minute, what is a constant factor here? It's Wiper. Are all these different MCAs who come in of Wiper all bad? No. So what is the, what is that?
The common denominator.
Yeah, it's a party leader. So it is Kalonzo Musyoka who is trying to destabilize the governors of Machakos so that he can continue being the lord of poverty. So he wants to be the kingpin, whereas everybody is poor. Whereas the Machakos governors are saying, let us lift our people out of poverty. Because it is when we get out of poverty that we live better lives. Because you are not born to be poor. Hatukuzaliwa tuishi na umaskini. We are born actually to live better lives. So we, the governors, are trying to lift people. Lakini yeye anafanya kitu kama tunasema anakanyegea kisando. And because our people out of poverty have been brainwashed, they think he's always right. Hawajatambua ya kwamba ameweka kwa umaskini ndio waendelee kumchukulia kama Mungu. It's a very common trick in Africa. Make the people poor, maintain them poor. Anything that can make them richer, ipige, so that they look like they're the only ones. Ni wamesimama hapo. But that time is past. Yeye maisha yake na nini amefanya kazi yake. He's now history. We are moving on to a new era. People have to demand for change, and people will get change. Let's
talk about that new era as well, because it's funny, when I was doing the intro and spoke about the fact that you'll be in studio, and we're talking about what's next after his term as governor. Some people said, we all know he's running for president. That's what he's going to be doing. And I was like, let us hear it from the horse's mouth, because you are here, you don't need a spokesman.
It's very clear. Let me ask you, when I look at our country, and the reason that we are aspiring for higher office is because when you look at our country, we've been in what, last time I think I told you, the foundation stage. Jomo Kenyatta, our first president, Oginga Odinga, the first vice president, Moi served in the Legico, Kibaki was Secretary General of KAU before he became KANU. All these are pre-independence leaders. Oginga Odinga was locked up for democracy. Uhuru Kenyatta, the first leader under the new. So we've just been putting the slab. So we cannot continue in that way, Kenya, forever. Uhuru has given us stability, ametujengea SDR. He's been a wonderful president. However, we now need... so ulisoma?
Nilisoma.
Ulienda college?
Yes, nilienda.
Ni ukulize. Do you remember your Form 4 teacher? Ule kusomesha vizuri?
Yes.
Kama huyu mwalimu angekufunza vizuri, ungeenda college, ungepita?
Hapana.
Lakini ulipoenda college, huyu mwalimu wa form 4 alifuatana na wewe college kukufunza.
Nilimwacha huko.
Ulimwacha huko?
Yes.
Acha tuache college. Mwalimu wa primo ule alifanya upite ndio uende high school. Huyo mwalimu kama angekufunza ABCD, huyo mwalimu wa standard 8 kama angekufunza vizuri hesabu na nini, ungeweza kwenda high school mzuri?
Hapana.
Haungeenda. Lakini ulipoenda high school na college ulimkuta huyo mwalimu?
Hapana.
Kenya is at certain age. These leaders have done well. They are like our form 4 teachers. Wametufanyia vizuri, we have stability, we have economy, but Kenya imegrow to a certain place now that we are moving now to the university level. Au fuatana na mwalimu alikufunza standard 7 ndio unaenda na university ya kufunza medicine. So Kenya is at stage it needs a new brand of leadership, a new brand of generational change. New leaders will transform it to be like Singapore, Thailand, France, Italy, all these developed nations. You cannot continue with the same leaders and expect change. And we respect them. Ndio ametufikisha hapa, lakini reality says mwalimu wa form 4 alikufikisha form 4, umemkuta another professor. And that is why Kenya needs Dr. Alfred Mutua to take it to the next level.
Uone tutapeleka university.
Ndio tukiwa university tuweze kuhitimu vizuri, ndio tuweze kuenjoy maisha tukiwa hapa, because you only have one life, my friend. Hii maisha si tizi. So why should we be practicing tizi? But also, and this is my message to Kenyans, and the message is very clear. Kenyans are always talking about change. Tunataka mabadiliko. We want change, but we are not willing to change. Sisi wenyewe tunataka mabadiliko, tunataka barabara, tunataka hii, but we as a people tunaenda ile system ya kupigia yule kura, kupigia ukabila kura, kupigia mwizi kura, kupigia hii kura, kufanya tabia mbaya hii ya kupiga siasa mbaya, and ndio tunataka mabadiliko. So we as Kenyans lazima tubadilike kama tunataka mabadiliko.
Okay.
And that is a challenge to all of us. Our youth of this country, we are the majority. 75% of the people of this country are below the age of, actually 80% below the age of 50. So what are we doing? Sisi ndio wengi, 80% ndio wengi. Tunapeana mamlaka yetu kwa wetu ambao wamefikia miaka 80 and above. Why? We should be taking care of them. You know, when the French President Macron took over the power at the age of 39, the older people said, yes, we want new blood, new energy. Mtu ambaye ni chap anayezunguka anafanya kazi. Because we are not in that era where you get leaders sitting and pointing, fanya hii. We've moved from there. And young people tujua kwamba will either continue being poor with nothing, or we'll have to change and choose a young person to lead us to the next level.
Okay, and so like you've heard in 2022, that is definitely happening right there. You shall see him at the ballot box. He said it for himself. No need to speculate.
And
he's going to be running
I
for
want to say it clearly that if you see me on the ballot box, know that I'm going to win. I'm not going to be there just for show. And that is why I'm asking for your support. I ask you to support me so that we can change this country, change the conversation, so that you can sleep well with security, you can live well, you can make your money and have more money. So the tofauti ni Jeff, do you want more money or no money?
That's a question we'll be asking. But you know, also they say a good thing with every leader is that they know themselves.
Yes.
So I'm going to play a clip right here, and I need you to tell me which one is you, which one isn't you. Director, please, twende kazi.
Instead of taking care of current business, because our people are suffering, our leaders are busy concentrating on acquisition of political power, on looking at 2022. Now, how do you say you're going to be a better leader in 2022? How do you say you're going to lead this country in 2022 or participate in 2022 when you are in leadership and Kenya looks like this? Kenya is in this state of disrepair. We've totally lost focus. This is not the kind of Kenya that we need. And really, we don't expect President Uhuru Kenyatta to come here and personally start cleaning this place. So his people are letting him down. The people he's given work to are letting him down. Things should be done. So I commit myself that I will personally send my own team with my own personal money, and we are going to fix this statue.
Our leaders, instead of taking care of current business, because our people are suffering, our leaders are busy focused on acquisition of power, on looking at 2022. Now, how do you say you're going to be a better leader in 2022? How do you say that you're going to lead this country in 2022 or concentrate on 2022 when you are in leadership and Kenya looks like this? Kenya is in this state of disrepair. We have totally lost focus. This is not the kind of Kenya that we need. And really, we don't expect President Uhuru Kenyatta to come here and personally start cleaning this place. So his people are letting him down. The people he has given his work to are letting him down. So I commit myself that I will personally send my own team, my own people with my own money, and we are going to fix this statue.
Daktari.
Yes.
Voice 1 or voice 2?
No, it's voice 1 definitely. you can, lazima ujue sauti yako bana. The other guy, whoever doing it actually tried.
Yes.
But it's voice 1.
Okay, fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
And you leave it at that, Governor. Thank you so much for coming.
And thank you, Jeff. And I don't know whether you follow me as we are. Please follow me on Twitter. It's at Dr. Alfred Mutua. Please follow me. We keep the conversation going. Right. Follow me also on Facebook, Dr. Alfred Mutua, and also on Instagram, Governor_Mutua. Okay. So that is Dr. Alfred Mutua, both Twitter and Facebook, and then Governor_Mutua okay. And the people want to come to Machakos, on my Facebook, I published my development agenda. I even put the boreholes with GPS.
So they can go and
you can actually use your GPS, ukuje up to the point. Uangalie kama kuna ball, kama kuna ball, kama kuna maji, hakuna maji, kama kuna damu, hakuna damu. So this nonsense of people saying ni PR, iishie hapo. Okay, because watu wanaongea ni PR, na yeye yuko hapa Nairobi, haje atafika Machakos.
Okay, you've heard. If you want to go and see it for yourself and you're doubting, go there and see without asking anybody or any permission. You can go and see that. Also, don't forget, he has said before 2022, Cobra Squad the movie ought to be out, and in 2022, yes, my friend, he'll be running for president. So clearly a lot of work to be done between now and then. But of course, him and sharing his vision for his personal goals and the country at large, right here as we got up close and personal on the show. Once again, asante sana Bwana Governor.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, and I'm really glad to be here.
You take a short break, we're back on the other side, and it's all about men and an issue that they don't usually want to talk about in public, but Chico has said it's about time we do that. That's coming up after the break right here on K24 This Morning.